Now at 11, a fiery train crash forces evacuations, but it's what was inside that caused some concern.
I don't understand how that can happen in a facility, how there's not enough people looking out, like employees or security guards.
A Capitola woman left with so many questions after she says she was drugged and sexually assaulted. Tonight, we find out why she had to leave the county to get a rape kit.
And cracking down on homeless camps in our state. What's behind the Trump administration's new mission to get people off the streets?
And a weather system that brought snow and thunderstorms to the region today is on its way out. So what's next?
And another vaping-related death, with hundreds more cases still under investigation. What experts say people should understand about e-cigs.
This is KION News Channel 546 at 11.
But our top story tonight, a former trainer accuses star NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown of rape. The accusation comes in a lawsuit just days after Brown's continuing drama with the league and Oakland Raiders, leading to the team releasing him from the roster the week of the season opener. And this bombshell comes after the New England Patriots picked him up for their own team. The lawsuit was filed in South Florida. Brown's former personal trainer, Brittany Taylor, cites 3 examples between June 2017 and May 2018 where Brown allegedly attacked her without her consent. The first 2 are both in June of 2017 training sessions. Taylor says that Brown exposed himself and kissed her, and later in the month pleasured himself while standing behind her. She started training again several months later, but in May of 2018, Brown's accused of forcing her on a bed and raping her. Brown's attorney released a statement writing, "Brown denies each and every allegation in the lawsuit. He will pursue all legal remedies to not only clear his name, but to also protect other professional athletes against false accusations." Brown also says that Taylor asked him to invest money in her business project and that their sexual interactions were consensual. For more on this developing story and to read the full lawsuit, go to our website, KION546.com. Now to our other top news. We're following up on a Capitola woman's traumatizing story. She says that she was drugged at a Santa Cruz bar and may have later been sexually assaulted. Reporter Alicia Machado explains why she had to leave the county for rape testing. But first, our Amanda Gomez has the disturbing details of what happened. Amanda.
Sarah Arellano went on social media to share her story, and she says it all started Saturday night at the Red Room Bar on Cedar Street in Santa Cruz. Arellano went on to say it's the worst experience of her life.
Me and my friend wanted to go out to just kind of have like a calm night.
Arellano says the last thing she remembers was ordering a water after having one drink with a friend. She woke up later confused and noticed bruises on her body. She said she couldn't have gotten too drunk that night and went to Dominican Hospital. After a blood test, she found out she tested positive for a date rape drug.
I didn't believe it. To be honest with you, I didn't believe it. I just started thinking about like the intent behind it, like what someone's intention has to be to do that to somebody.
Arellano says she doesn't remember the assault, but she does remember the invasive procedure after that. It was done after she was sent to another hospital in Santa Clara County. She says it was dehumanizing, and she hopes no one will ever go through it. KION's Alicia Machado dug deeper to find out why these sexual assault exams are not being done in Santa Cruz County. And Alicia, what did you learn?
Amanda, Santa Cruz County officials tell me that there are not enough qualified nurses there to administer these exams, so they contract them out to Santa Clara County, something that Arellano says that she and others are frustrated about.
The whole process was just, it was traumatizing. I can't imagine somebody having to go through that and remembering their assault.
Sarah Arellano recounts the day she went through an examination by the Sexual Assault Response Team, or SART.
I didn't know what that entailed. I thought it was like, oh, they swab you and you're done. Like, no, they have to photograph your entire body, like naked, and they have to measure your injury. They have to photograph like between your legs and stuff, and nobody talks about that.
A distressing experience after she says she was drugged at the Red Room Bar in Santa Cruz. Ariano says she was later sexually assaulted but has no memory. Date rape drugs were found in her system after a blood test at Dominican Hospital in Santa Cruz, but then she was told they didn't offer the test there and had to drive more than 30 miles to Santa Clara Valley Medical Center.
And that's the most messed up part of this all, in my opinion, is driving to Santa Clara, having to go that far. What if it was a teenager? How would they have gotten there?
The Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Office says Valley Medical in San Jose has the best available resources, including staffing and facilities for administering the SART exams. Sheriff's Office spokesperson Dee Baldwin told me, quote, "The value of the evidence gained justifies the necessity to travel. They are experts in the field." Monarch Services, who offers sexual assault services and accompanies survivors to SART exams, said the distance is challenging.
It's just really challenging because, after somebody has been through such a traumatic, incident event, they have to then go all the way over to Valley Medical Center and not just spend the time traveling over there, but also spending the time at the actual exam.
Contracting out these cases has been going on for the past 2 years. Monarch hopes the exams will return to Santa Cruz soon. The county spokesperson Jason Hoppin said the county hopes to bring the test back to the area soon, but the soonest that would happen would be early next year. Back to you.
Thank you, Alicia. The police are investigating Arellano's claims. For people who believe they've been victims of sexual assault, there is help in Santa Cruz County. Monarch Services provides what they describe as comprehensive service for victims of sexual violence. The hotline is available 24 hours. The hotline is there now at the bottom of your screen. We have a decision tonight in the dispute between the City of Salinas and the Police Officers Association. In a 6-1 vote tonight, the council decided to impose its final offer. The Police Officers Association says this is the first time in 100 years that the council has imposed a contract on the union. The new contract now includes no pay raise and requires officers to share the cost of health care by paying 5% of their own premiums. The police chief can also change their schedules. Salinas and the union began negotiating this year. Since April, they have not been able to agree on pay raises and health care coverage. Mayor Joe Gunter told us yesterday that the city is in a tough financial spot and he doesn't want to cut services. The new contract is in effect until June 2020. The president of the Police Officers Association, Jim Knowlton, sent KON this statement tonight. Quote, "They are deeply disappointed with the mayor and council who voted to cut officer pay in the middle of a staffing crisis." He continued by saying they are losing officers and will lose even more because of the decision, and it will mean longer response times and putting crime reduction efforts at risk. We have more police news tonight. The Salinas Union High School District is asking the city to get national television show Live PD out of town. In a 6-0 vote tonight, they approved a resolution writing that law enforcement television contributes to a negative representation of the community and overgeneralizes Salinas as, quote, criminally inclined. The city renewed its contract with the show, and Police Chief Adele Fresse tells KON that Live PD contributed to a drop in crime. We also have an update out of Santa Cruz tonight. The City Council has approved adding an overnight curfew at Main Beach after complaints over a growing homeless presence there. The 6-1 vote puts the policy in place beginning tomorrow. The dry sand portion will be closed from midnight to just an hour before sunrise, and the conditions that led to the policy have been declared a public nuisance. The policy will sunset in 6 months, but could be extended or changed at the time following public hearings. A similar curfew has been at Cowell Beach since 2013.
News around our state now. President Trump is reportedly pushing for a crackdown on homeless camps in California. Administration officials were in LA today to discuss the homeless crisis there, something the president has called a, quote, disgrace to our country. According to the Washington Post, President Trump has ordered White House officials to get the homeless off the streets and into government facilities. Some LA City Council members find the language they've heard troubling.
In terms of cracking down on homeless encampments and then relocating them to government sites. It sounds an awful lot like internment, and this administration does not have a good track record considering we still have children without their parents living in cages at the border.
Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti wrote a letter to the president thanking him for the visit and closed it by saying they must put politics aside when it comes to responding to the homeless crisis. And a bill to cap rent hikes in our state has cleared a key legislative hurdle. The California Senate approved the bill today. The bill caps rent increases at 5% plus inflation. The cap expires in 2030. It does not apply to housing built within the last 15 years, single-family homes not owned by corporations and trusts, and duplexes where the owner lives in a unit. This bill needs final approval in the Assembly.
And now, Chief Meteorologist Dan Siaka with your Weather Authority forecast.
It's had a nice sunset tonight. This was the view from the Central Park neighborhood in Salinas. Not a lot of clouds out there as the sun was setting, but some nice colorful glows in the sky. Capping off a day where inland highs were well below normal and it was pretty comfortable on the coast. Bitterwater was our hot spot at 85 today. Parkfield came in at 83 in second place. Santa Cruz in the upper 70s. That's pretty nice. Watsonville mid 70s. Not too bad. Salinas right around room temperature at 72. In Monterey, 70. Cool spot was Moss Landing at 66. Tracking a few low clouds out there tonight, mostly just hugging the northern Santa Lucia and Gavilan ranges. We also have a couple of high clouds. You can see those moving across the screen. No fog out there just yet, and temperatures are still mild around the bay with 60s. But we have some heat on the way, and not just for our inland cities, but also some warmth on the coast. I'll tell you when that's going to arrive in the full forecast coming up.
We'll be paying attention, Dan. Thank you. Developing tonight, another death from lung disease related to vaping was announced in Kansas. This now brings the total number of deadly cases to 6. Authorities around the country are putting out warnings regarding e-cigarette use. There are at least 450 cases of severe lung disease potentially linked to vaping. Some of them are still under investigation.
It's really important that people understand that these are unregulated and new products on the market, and there's a lot that we just don't know about them yet.
No one has been able to identify one single product or ingredient in e-cigarettes behind these illnesses, but patients have reported vaping both nicotine and THC, which is the active ingredient in marijuana.
News across the nation. The next Democrat presidential debate is Thursday, and qualified candidates are trying to keep rising in the polls. The top 2 women candidates have seen their support flip. California's Kamala Harris surged after the first debate, but CBS political correspondent Ed O'Keefe says Elizabeth Warren has pulled much of that support in the months since. He attributes that to Warren spending the summer releasing detailed policy proposals. Since August 22nd, polling averages from Real Clear Politics have former Vice President Joe Biden still in a commanding first place with 30% of the vote. 30% support, rather. Warren has a slight edge over Senator Bernie Sanders. Kamala Harris has been polling in 4th with 7%. No one else has more than 5%.
A train derailment leads to schools and homes evacuated. Why officials were worried when this went up in flames.
And the Trump administration won't grant Bahamians humanitarian aid in the U.S. What will happen to those already making their way here?
And an unwanted discovery in the ice cream section at a grocery store. Stick with us for that.